Hello all, so let's continue with our Leetcode problem number 151. So the problem is simple, that what you have to do is, given a string, you can see this is a string, the sky is blue, you have to just invert it. So blue is sky, the something like this. But the trick is that the string may contains leading and trailing spaces or multiple spaces between two words. For example, here there are multiple spaces. Here we have leading and trailing spaces, right? So, but in the output, we should return the string without those trailing and leading spaces, as well as even we have more than one space in between two words. In output, we should always have just single space between the words. Okay. So the first things first, that firstly we have to reverse. And second thing is, we have to take care of the spaces. And spaces, whether it's in between two words, if there are multiple, then we have to just output single space, as well as if we have leading and trailing spaces like this, those as well we have to ignore. Okay, so I'll use Python here for this, but let me build the intuition that what we have to do in this case. So simple thing is that given the sky is blue, I have to somehow invert it, right? So I have to somehow reverse, you can say that, for this string. So I'll take three approaches. Okay, so because they also have one follow-up, I'll show you that here there's a follow-up, that if the string data type is mutable in your language, in Python it's not, but we'll see that what can we do for mutation. Okay, we can convert into the list and then perform, because they are saying that we have to do it in place, we don't need any extra space to solve this problem, and we will do this as well. But first things first, we'll go with the brute force, or not brute force, but we'll go with the approach which doesn't this solve this follow-up. Okay, very naive approach that we'll follow, like inbuilt methods, you can say that, and then we will gradually move to other methods. Okay, why I'm not able to open it? What's wrong? Whiteboard. Okay, strange. So first approach, very simple and naive approach, we will use inbuilt functions in Python. Inbuilt function in Python. Okay. And second, let's see later, but let's first code it out, the approach one. So let me write the comments that this will be our approach one, which is inbuilt methods. Okay. So it's gonna be really simple, that what we have to do, let me print everything first so that it's more clear. Firstly, I'll use the inbuilt split function. So wait, I have problem with indentation. So firstly, what I have to do is, let's grab this a bit. Firstly, let's use the split function. Oops, split. And let's see what this do for us. I'm just printing it out for your better understanding. So what it will be, it will just split it. Okay. So if you see this one, you can see the inbuilt function is taking care of the spaces. You can see the space are not in the output. You can see, though, even though it will, the split function will be convert into a list. Okay, that's what Python do. And this good thing here is that we don't have to take care of the spaces, whether they are 2, 3, 4, or n number of spaces in between. After the split, we will get each single word that we have. So the only thing left to be done is just use the reverse. So in Python, there is inbuilt reverse function that we can use. And let's print it and let's see what we get. It's giving the object at that space. So what we have to do to visualize it is that, let's say it's giving let me have the list. Maybe it will be list of list, but just to visualize the object. Yeah, you can see blue is the sky, and that's what we need, right? So what we have to do, we have to just simply join all this, right? And we will use our simple join function. So this list was just for your visualization, as well as this print was also just to show you the prints. So I have to remove, I guess, 2 brackets. Yes. So this will already give the list, because we know that s.split will give the list already. Okay. So that's why I don't need one more list. What I have to do is I have to just join them. And by what I have to join? By space. So by space, I have to just join what? The entire list, or the reverse list that we have. So just we have to return this. Let's return. Very simple one-liner thanks to Python. So we are getting, and if I'll submit, it will also pass all the cases. Yeah. So that was very simple approach, I can say. So let me comment and let's move towards the actual problem that we can solve. So let's say approach 2. And here we will try to use something else, and let's visualize what that something else can be over here. So approach 2, let me go a bit down, I can say. Why? Yeah, now I think we can start with approach 2. Okay, so firstly, what we have to do, given the string, we have to give blue is sky the. So somehow we have to reverse, right? Something like reversing that we have to do. So let's say step number 1, let me change the color, would be better. Oops. So step number 1 is to reverse. We have to do something reverse, right? So let's reverse the entire string. So if I'll directly reverse, what we will get? It will be hard to write, but let me write. So right now I'm reversing this entirely. Okay, so let's reverse. It will be EULB, then SI, then it's hard to write, YKS, and EHT. Oops. Ooh, I hope it's correct. So this is what we will get after our step number 1, that at least we reversed something. Now what we have to do is, our task is to just convert this, reverse this again and convert it into a blue. Reverse this again and convert into ease. Reverse this again, sky, and reverse this again, the. So this is what something needs to be done after we reverse the entire string. But what about spaces? Okay. So first things first, that we have to extract the word without spaces. Okay, each and every individual word I have to extract, but without spaces. Even though I have leading space here, I have to ignore that. I have to just consider this word and just reverse it. So what will be step number 2? Let's see that. So now step number 2 will be, again changing the color. Step number 2 will be, now extract each word and then reverse. So in this extraction process, you have to take care of spaces as well, that we don't have to consider spaces. Okay. So firstly, I'll do 3 approaches. So even in second approach, I'll not use the follow-up thing. In third approach, I'll do the follow-up thing. So in second approach as well, we will still use some extra space. Okay. So just to let you know, or I can simply write it, what I am going to do, that here still in approach 2 is still not optimal. So we'll use 2 pointers. I'll tell you what 2 pointers is, but still not the follow-up question. Or let me write in correct English that the follow-up question is not addressed yet in this approach. So let's begin. That we have to first extract each and every word. So what we will do for that? So in order to get each and every word, firstly, if I have spaces, then I have to ignore, right? So let's take one pointer I, which starts from 0, right? And what we have to do, we also need something called as, we have to extract each word. So let's say firstly my word is empty, so this is each word that I'll extract. But what I have to do, firstly I have to check if my s of I, because I is something which will iterate over my string, right? So over this string, okay, after this reverse thing is being done, so I have to check only those will be the words when there is no space. So when we don't have any spaces, okay, so we'll need one loop, right, which will go through all this E, B, E, U, L, B, right? So this loop will do this. Okay, I'll write the entire loop, but what we have to do, we have to check there should not be any empty space, because empty space we have to ignore. So this will also ignore the empty space which we need. Okay, even we have leading empty space or trailing empty space, this will ignore. It will just consider all the characters which are non-empty space. Oh, sorry, all the characters only, not the white spaces. Okay, so that's what we have to consider. And so I have to write this in a while loop, that my while this is happening, and of course in while there will be one more condition. So what that will be, it will be bit easy to explain if I'll write it. So let me write that this is the one condition, and another condition will be, of course my I should not go out of bounds, right? Let's say n is total number of characters in this. Okay, so it includes spaces as well. Okay, so here I guess it's 15 if you'll count, including spaces, they are 15. So while these two conditions are satisfied simultaneously, then what I have to do, I have to add, as soon as I'll get the space, that will be end of the word. So then this while loop will end and we will extract one word, this EULB. Okay, and then we will simply reverse it. So firstly what I have to do, I have to just add this to my word. So I'll just write word plus or equals to S of I. So if there is not a space, then it will be valid characters. So what this word will have is, firstly it will have E, then it will have U, then it will have L, and it will have B. And after B there is a space, so it will stop. So this while loop will stop. And of course in this while loop we have to, since we have to iterate, I have to give I plus plus, or I can say I plus or equals to 1. Okay, so that's what I have to do. So in this while loop will take care of spaces as well, and as well as extract all the words. Okay, but after each word is extracted, what we have to do, we have to reverse, right? Extract each word and reverse. So after this while loop is finished, I have to simply reverse. So after this while loop is finished, I will reverse my word, whatever word is being extracted. So firstly it will be the inverse of blue, which will be EULB. So I have to just reverse it. So, and we know that how to reverse in Python, we just write colon colon and -1. So right now I am just writing pseudo code. So let me just write reverse my word. Whatever word is being extracted, just reverse it. Okay, and at the end, all these words we have to concatenate, or we can say we have to form the entire sentence. So what we have to do, after each word is being extracted, after this is being done, the last thing is that let me take one answer, which will be our answer. Okay, what we have to do, we have to add this to our answer, but firstly we'll take answer as blank again, very top, at the very top, and we will add in that answer word, but with spaces, because we need space as well. So there will be a problem with the first word, that we will get one extra space just before the starting word, right? Because we have to add all these words with spaces. So this will be a bit problematic for us. So this will be simply taken care. In our answer, we will consider from the first index. We will just ignore the 0th index of the answer. So while returning, this will be the 0th index. Sorry, it's auto. So it's taking not 0, but I mean 0th index. We'll just ignore. So what I mean is, while returning, I'll just return from first index until the end. And that's it. So that is what we have to do. And of course, we have to continue this. So this will be like for extracting each word. So there will be also one more while loop which will be going on, because we have to start the while loop, right? So where there will be one more while loop. So both the while loop are incrementing I++. So at the end, we also have I++ for this while loop. Because if we just start with this while loop, right, then it is just to extract the word. Okay, so it will extract just one word, but how we will continue with the next word then, right? This will just do for the blue, and then we are done. We have to consider for ease and everything, right? Because at the end we will hit first space, this while loop will be exited. So we will need one more while loop. So everything what we did should be done inside a while loop with the same condition. And you can see both while loops are incrementing I. So it won't be a nested iteration, because here as well we are incrementing I. So it won't be a nested iteration. It will be simple O of n operation. So our time complexity here will be O of n, and our space complexity, if you can guess, we are just using this extra word, right? So we can say it's also linear, because in worst case we have just one word, then we have to consider that entire word, store it somewhere, right? So that's what our space complexity. This is also linear, but we will see in our third approach that how we can do in O of one space. That's what our follow-up is. So let's code it out, the second approach, quickly. So 2 pointers. Okay. Time will be O of n, and space will be again O of n. Okay, for the first approach, it's your homework to find space and time complexity, so that you know that what inbuilt functions does under the hood. Okay, so please do that. Just ask ChatGPT, it will be fine. So let's see what you have to do. First things first, what I said, we have to reverse. So I will reverse my entire string, and in Python it's so easy to reverse: colon colon and -1, and it will reverse. Okay, and also let's take n as length of my string, because we'll need that later. And let's say this is our answer, which will be empty as of now, and let's start our loop. So firstly it will be outer while loop that I'll be writing, or I can also write the inner while loop. So for every word, what I have to do, I'll write as I explained so that it's easy. Firstly, word will be empty. Now, until my I is in bounds and we don't encounter any space. As soon as we have space, we will stop. But until we don't have any space, so we have space, we will ignore. But we don't have space, then that's our valid character, and that needs to be added to our word. So this word will be updated, and of course we have to move, so even I will be updated. After this, what we have to do, whatever word is being extracted, we have to just reverse it. So let's reverse. So this will reverse. So blue, now we'll again get back our blue. Okay, so this will again get back to our blue, and then what we have to do, we have to update our answer plus or equals to with space, because each and every word should be added with the space. But there will be a problem, we will have extra space on the front, which we will remove by using the return. Okay, so we will return but how we will return? From 1 to, okay, and this I have to do in a loop, okay, because this will be just for one word. This will just execute for one word and it will be stopping. So we will need to do for entire. So we will need one more while loop, which will also go from I to n, and I starts from 0. And for this while loop as well, we will need I plus plus. So I will do I plus or equals to 1. So this I plus plus is for this while loop, the outer while loop. So both are incrementing I. So I will be incremented twice if this while loop condition is satisfied. So we are at the end just going through the entire list just once. It's not like we are doing nested or anything. Okay. Still there is one minor problem, but I'll show you while running the code so that it's easy for you to also debug. So you can see for this, it worked because there wasn't any leading or trailing space. For this, didn't work. Okay. And for this, also it didn't work. We are getting some leading and trailing spaces. So why is this happening? So we are still not taking care of our leading and trailing spaces. Why? Because we are using this, right? So this space and this space is being not taken care of somehow. And for that, what we have to do is we have to update our answer with the word only when my word is something. Okay. Because what was happening was when our loop is not running, still we are updating our answer with some space and nothing with some space. That is what was happening. But when we have our valid word, then only we will update our answer, right? So that's what we have to do. And if I'll run now, you can see it's accepted. Perfect. Let's submit. Yeah, you can see space and time complexity. You can see space linear, time also O of 1. Okay, here they are considering it as O of 1, but actually it can't be O of 1 because we are using one extra space to store our word intermediate. So it can't be O of 1. But that's strange that it's also considering it as O of 1, because it should not be O of 1. We are using this extra word to store this of obviously just one word, but what if we have just one word in our entire, then we have to return the same, right? And our algorithm is like that we are going to go to this loop at least, correct? So I think not correct. And for this only we can also use two pointers, but in place modification. So here we haven't used in place modification, right? We are using some in other variable to store our answer and then we are giving it as an output. But let's use the third approach, which is in place modification. So what's that approach? Let's